God bless you, and welcome to another episode of God at Work. Really glad I can be here with you again this week. I'm thankful for every week that God gives me. But anyhow, today I want to share a couple of little testimonies with you that came in as a result from last week's program. It's amazing, The Bible tells us that actually in the book of Mark, chapter 16, verse 17 and 18, sort of, it says, "And these signs will follow those who believe. In my name, they will cast out demons, they will speak with new tongues, they will take up serpents, and if they drink anything deadly, it will by no means hurt them. They will lay hands on the sick, and they will recover." But it says, these signs will follow those who believe. So if we're in motion doing something, going somewhere, the signs are going to follow us. If we're just sitting somewhere waiting for them to happen, it's not good. It says these signs will follow. How can something follow you if you're motionless? You're just sitting there waiting around. So these signs will follow those who believe. So we're going to start out with a song as we get ready to head into these testimonies as a result of last week's program. But here we go. When you need him most.
Say not that God his face has hidden from you, though doubts may stand before you as a host. Lift up your eyes, behold, Christ watches o'er you, and he is nearest when you need him most. Fear not the testing, 'tis to make you stronger, that not in self, but Christ your soul shall boast. He will not leave you, rest now on his promise, for he is nearest when you need him most. Why should you wonder at his tender mercy? He too has walked the rugged wind-swept coast. He knows your weakness and your fierce temptations, and waits to aid you when you need him most. Fear not the testing, 'tis to make you stronger, that not in self, but Christ your soul shall boast. He will not leave you, rest now on his promise, for he is nearest when you need him most. So do not fear the gathering clouds of darkness. Stand where God placed you, never leave your post. And when it seems that sure defeat awaits you, he'll stand beside you when you need him most. Fear not the testing, 'tis to make you stronger, that not in self, but Christ your soul shall boast. He will not leave you, rest now on his promise, for he is nearest when you need him most. Fear not the testing, 'tis to make you stronger, that not in self, but Christ your soul shall boast. He will not leave you, rest now on his promise, for he is nearest when you need him most. For he is nearest when you need him most.
Fear not, for he is nearest when you need him most. It reminds me so much of the verse in Isaiah chapter 41, verse 10. It says, "Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God." And that is a verse that is so important to so many people. Jesus heals in so many different ways, not just in physical healings. He heals us from feelings of being isolated, of loneliness. He heals us of being in bondage and the traps when sin is controlling our lives. He heals us when there are, of course, when there are physical ailments that are going on. He heals us from emotional wounds. He heals us when we have a sense of hopelessness. He is there to fill us with hope as only He can do. But we're not to fear, no matter what it is we're walking through, whether it's any type of healing that we need. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. No matter what man is saying to us, no matter what's going on in our lives, He is our God, and He is the one that has the final word. And just a little quick side note, Karen, the pastor in the Isle of Wight that you've been praying for, she has her surgery booked a few days from now coming up, and would really appreciate your continued prayers, as it is a very, very delicate situation, and she's holding on. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. Fear not. So please keep Karen in your prayers. But, I want to share a testimony here that came in actually the same day the program aired, the evening the day the program aired, I think. And this woman wrote, I didn't know when she wrote it whether it was woman or man, but I've heard back from her since. And this is a little note that she sent. Sorry, my English no good. I come from Poland 7 years ago, where I heard you in meeting in Poznan. I found you on Google 2 years ago. And since I come to Canada, I stay at home because my English so bad, people laugh. I close, but afraid to go to people meeting, so try to watch on TV, but not like any. So yesterday I watched and was happy. Thank you, Pastor Rauna, Pastor Josh, and the other pastor who teach. So she was really blessed by hearing what God was doing and having an opportunity. So there's some of you that might not be in a close enough distance that you can come in person. Or you might just want to add more to your weekly routine of meetings, and you want to get other inputs coming in. Feel free. All the details are in last week's program as to how you can do that, how you can watch online. It's all there. But so anyway, this woman, this is a picture of a meeting here in Poland when I was there that trip. And you can see she wasn't afraid at that point to go into large meetings. Some of these meetings had several thousand people in them. And, but when she came here with issue with her English, it sort of, as she said in one of her other messages, it sort of made her feel hopeless. Because she said, I'm stuck here. I can't do anything. I can't go anywhere. And so for now, she's quite happy being able to watch online. We need to make sure that whatever it is, we're getting fed somehow, somewhere, whether it's in person, whether it's online, and that it's good, solid, biblical meal. So she was thrilled when she found this. And I'm really glad that she did, because we've been in contact and we're actually going to get together. She says, not in a big meeting place. I said, oh no, somewhere really quiet where nobody can hear what we're talking about. Just you and I. They won't even hear your English. And by the way, your English isn't that bad. But anyway, so we're going to get together, and hopefully she'll start breaking out and she'll be healed of that fear of being out in public meetings, realizing that her English was very understandable. No problem with it. But that just happened a few days ago. And then when I was down in Washington for the weekend visiting Jerry and his wife Marianne, we had a wonderful, peaceful time down. I just love it being down there. It's so peaceful, so pleasant. And the little grandson is adorable. But anyhow, driving back up, I usually try and stop at this dairy on my way. And I had taken the back roads rather than the freeway. I had time, and I didn't want to have to rush on the freeway. I took some back roads for quite a lot of the distance. And it was really peaceful, calm. And I get to this dairy where I usually go. There's a picture of it right here. It's called the Edeline Dairy. And they have wonderful cheese and milk and better prices than up here in Canada, too. So I like to stop there and grab, especially cheese for my grandson. He's a cheese addict. And, things like that. And quite often I'll sit down and have a coffee or something while I'm sitting there. And a couple of trips ago, when I was on my way back from Washington, I stopped there, and it was on a Saturday because I was coming to make sure I was back at my church for Sunday. And this lady comes up to me, and she was probably in her 40s, and she says, "You're Pastor May, aren't you?" I looked at her. I said, "Yeah, I'm Rauna." And she said, "Oh, I just finished watching you. I watch your program every week. I love watching God work." And to me, that's so important, that we can receive God working in our lives and through our lives. It's something that reminds me of an expression from Pastor Wayne Cordero from Hawaii. Well, now he's in Oregon. But he said one time, he said, "An inheritance is what you leave to another person, but a legacy is what you leave in another person." And if through these programs, since, we've not been able to do a lot of traveling lately, but if through these programs I can in some way leave a legacy to people, planting in them an insatiable desire for more, wanting more of God, not being satisfied with where they're at, knowing that God has a limitless amount for us. So I stopped there, and this woman, she said, "I just watched your program." And she said, "I watch you every week pretty much." She says, and we talked, we prayed, and it was really a sweet conversation. But then when I was coming back up on Monday, this past Monday, I stopped again, and guess who walked in? And she walked in, and there's a picture inside the dairy here where you can sit down and you can have coffee, you can have ice cream. Most people are eating ice cream. And so there's a picture. There you go. And you can see there's the booths on the side, and the first table closest to the front of the picture, that's where we were sitting. We were sitting right there. And, well, I was sitting there, and then she came over and sat down with me. And she said, I have to tell you, I was so blessed by the program this week. She said, "I recently moved up here from lower down the southern part of the States. I recently moved up here, and I've been looking to find a church where I feel at home, where I feel comfortable. I haven't been able to find anything, really. And I've been driving down to Bellingham, and I searched all sorts of churches down there and up here, and I went over to Linden, and I still not found somewhere that I feel I can call home." And then she said, "I was thinking about it. But if I drive from here down to Bellingham, it's not much difference in distance or time for me to drive from here up to where you are across the border. The only problem is if there's a lineup at the border." She said, "I think I'm going to have to try it. I'm going to have to try it sometime." So then we sat there talking, and she says, "I love hearing all the stories of when God is healing people. And there's so many different ways that he's healing. He's healing so many people with emotional issues. He's healing people with problems going on in their relationships. He's healing people that are just so lonely they don't know what to do. And he's healing physically. I've seen all these testimonies throughout the programs." And she said, "Right now, I have a real need. My right knee is in so much pain." And she was sitting down, so her leg was bent. And she said, I can't even straighten it past here." And she was, she was sitting like this, and this is her legs, and she goes to straighten them out. And she said, "I can't even lift it more than that." So when she was walking, you could tell she was walking with a real limp because she couldn't straighten up. So there was her leg there. And so she said, "Can you pray for me here? Or do I have to come up to your office? Or do I have to?" I said, "Well, this can be my office today, no problem." And so I said, "Sure, I'd be happy to pray for you." And, you don't have to yell and scream and make a big scene. Nobody else even knew what we were doing. And I just sort of stretched my arm. I didn't even, I really just barely touched her shoulder. Didn't get down to her knee or anything, Started to pray and ask God to take care of the situation, heal what was going on in that knee. I said, "God, I don't know what's going on, what the cause is, but you do. And God, please take away the pain that she's suffering. I know it's not your will for her to be suffering that pain. Take away the pain, heal that leg, that knee." And the next thing you know, she's straightening her leg from here right out perfectly, back and forth, back and forth. And then she's standing up. It's almost like she was marching. And that's when people did start to look. Because there she's standing right beside the table, just almost marching in place. But God healed that knee. She said she was going to send me a message and let me know what happened, how it went. She was going to do that yesterday. And I didn't hear from her yet, but I know she also said she had a doctor's appointment this week, so maybe she's waiting for the doctor's appointment. But she said the pain was completely gone, but that was just on the way. We didn't have an appointment. We didn't have anything set up. It wasn't, I'm going to meet you there. I'm coming through. No, God just sets up divine appointments along the way. And it's up to us to say, okay, God, I hear you. I'm listening. I'm going to do as you ask me to do. So it's amazing when God works. And what he does well. But we've got to be willing to step out in obedience to what he's asking of us. So there's a song that describes exactly what I'm talking about, the goodness of God. Jerry, the goodness of God.
I love you, Lord, for your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held in your hands. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. And all my life you have been faithful. Yes, all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire. In the darkest night, you are close like no other. I've known you as a father, I've known you as a friend, and I have lived in the goodness of God. And all my life you have been faithful. Yes, all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. 'Cause your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I'm surrendered now. I give you everything. 'Cause your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I'm surrendered now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. And all my life you have been faithful. Yes, all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. Yes, I will sing of the goodness of God. Oh, I will sing of the goodness of God.
I will sing of the goodness of God. There's so much to sing about. There's so much to tell about in all of the things that God is doing. You know, the lady actually, when we were sitting talking in the dairy, she said, she said, I love the way, God at work is different in that you're not just doing another church service, but you're telling about the goodness of God and the great things that He is doing. She said, I really need that because I have so many things, she said, that hold me back. And I don't step out often. She says, because I've got things that are bothering me or worrying me and, causing me to dwell in them. And I have an expression that I use all the time. I have no idea who I got it from. I guess I could search out quotes or whatever, but it says, it's time. You've got to stop allowing your past to control your future, your present, and destroy your future. It's time we've got to stop allowing the past to control the present and destroy the future. We've got to allow all of those things to be left in the hands of God so that we can carry on doing as He would ask us to do, being obedient, allowing His healing power to flow in us and through us so that there is nothing that can hinder us from stepping out in obedience. There's nothing from our past that can control us. I had one situation where I used to work on counseling lines for a TV program, a radio program. And if a phone call came in on a certain subject, I couldn't deal with it. It was more than I could handle because it was something that I'd gone through and I'd not completely dealt with yet. And it right there showed that it had the power to control my present because I couldn't step out and pray for somebody, minister to somebody that was dealing with that same subject. But God took it all away. It doesn't matter now who talks about it, who brings it up. It doesn't matter at all because it's dealt with. It's gone. But we can't allow anything to have that control in our lives, that it holds us back from being obedient to what God asks of us. But in all of the times you see in the scriptures where Jesus was healing people, so often He's touching the ones that are considered unclean. He is conversing with and spending time with the ones that are on the outside, the ones that are marginalized, the ones that are considered to not be okay to talk to. But He's showing us, rejection, and treating somebody like that can be very harmful. It's very painful for a lot of people. But His way is restorative and it's healing, and it touches and removes the pain of the being excluded, of not being a part of what is accepted. Because God created each and every one of us. Yeah, we've got areas that we've got to deal with. We've got things that we've got to let go of, that we've got to bring into alignment with His word. But we're still loved right where we're at. And so we've got to make sure that we don't allow anything to hold us back, to hold us from being able to say, okay, God, here am I. Use me. Wherever you want, whenever you want, however you want. And so when she was saying she really liked the way it tells testimonies, well, as I said earlier, that is, in reality, leaving a legacy. Yeah, I could do another church service, but there's so many out there, some that are good, some that aren't. And I don't need to do another one of that, but I know a lot of people need to be encouraged to move on in obedience to whatever God asks, seeing the results of Him doing His work in and through each life. So I hope that this encourages you to step out in obedience to whatever God asks of you, because He's got so much ahead. And don't be limited by, I've got to meet you here. We've got to be in the church We've got to be in a service. No, God can work where he wants, when he wants, and how he wants. Let him do it in you and through you. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, I thank you so much for what you're doing, for the way you're touching lives even through this program, Father. Sometimes, I don't know, for years, sometimes you touch somebody somewhere around the world and you heal them. And I find out, like for this one in Poznan, Father, thank you for giving me that encouragement, because that was 27 years ago that I was there in Poznan. But Lord, I thank you so much that it impacted her to the degree that she wants more. And so she started searching, looking to find more. And Lord, I ask that each story that's told, each testimony that is shared, will be meaningful and impact a life, and see a life changed. See someone that is drawn in to a deeper, more real relationship with you. In your precious name, amen. Praise God. I do hope that this has inspired you, encouraged you, and that you too will step out in obedience in every opportunity that you get, leaving a legacy in another person, passing it on. All that God's given you, pass it on. All that he's given me, I desire to pass it on and give him the freedom to use it in any way he desires. God bless you. We'll see you next week. But if you'd like to sow into this ministry so we can carry on, Jerry will have the details up on the screen for you. Please feel free to do so. God bless you. Love you. Bye-bye.